Grateful. It's awesome to have a worship leader that connects with us at that level, understands the assignment and what he's doing, and just a huge blessing to have a team with this much talent and to have the heart behind it. It's been a few weeks since I've been up here. My name's Trey Lewis. In case some of y'all have never seen me before, I work at GoodLanding and started this place about 8 years ago. And to watch this thing grow, I mean, even this room, I feel like when we just moved into this room a few months ago, that it was so delineated. It was just this side that wasn't even that full, that side wasn't even that full. And so now to see the room fill up. What's up, Christy? Good to see you. To see the room fill up and just the impact and to start the year off, it's just awesome. So I want to say thank you for choosing us. I know that you had options, that you could have gone anywhere, that you chose GoodLanding. And I don't ever want you to think that we take for granted the privilege to be able to serve you. You know, sometimes you come into a rehab and, you know, if you went to any kind of rehabs like I used to go to, I mean, they treated you like you were subhuman, okay? I mean, I remember I went through all these state-funded rehabs and stuff, and I don't know why my dad sent me to those, but that's what he did, and I would come in and, you know, you finally kind of come to, and I remember asking to use the phone, and I want to call my dad, and they're like, you weren't worried about your dad, you out there smoking crack. I'm like, what? I'm like, can I talk to my dad, please? Like, I don't know. I just remember then I get what they were doing, and there's some of that old school recovery approach that I really do appreciate. You know, sit down, shut up, you don't know anything. You know, I really do love some of that, but at the same time, you know, there's a way to attack the mindset of addiction without treating somebody like they're subhuman, okay? And I want you to know you're not second class to anybody, okay? You deal with the real condition. Nobody, you know, I didn't wake up one day when I was 15 and decide, you know what? I want to be the worst human being that has ever come out of Mississippi, and I am about to give my life to this assignment. I mean, I don't know, maybe y'all did. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you watched a movie or something, a mafia movie, and you're like, that's what I want to do. I want to make my mom's life a living hell. And so where's the meth? Maybe you did that. I did not do that. I drank, and it made me feel normal. And so I was in a pursuit of feeling normal. I wanted to kill this anxiety. I wanted to kill these feelings of inadequacy and self. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ultimately, that was what I was doing. You know, and then obviously as you get more entrenched and you get further into addiction, it transforms you into somebody that you don't like, that's unrecognizable. You know, parents have such a hard time as they watch this child that they have raised and sacrificed for and have, you know, given an example of what a responsible life is, to find out that their kid, you know, is morphed into a full-blown drug addict and a criminal or whatever it might be. And it's a horrible transition, but I also want you to understand that we have to take great accountability for where we're at, but it's also not your fault that you're in this room. And I also want you to know that you're not in trouble. Like treatment might feel like it's got some restrictions, but I'm telling you, this ain't jail. I know some of y'all that never been to treatment before, you're like, oh my God, it's like prison. Okay, like, no, it's not. It's not even like county, okay? So just chill out. It gets worse, okay? First treatment center. You can always tell the people in their first treatment center, they get like 30 letters a day. You know, it's mail call, like coming in with this bag for, you know, little princess that just got here for her first rehab. Some of us that have been to 1 million, we don't get anything. Except for a lawsuit or something in the mail or divorce papers. Anyway, so I just want you to know you're not in trouble, okay? You're not in trouble. All right? But I also want you to know you have hired me and this team to save your life. So please let us do our job, okay? It'd be pretty odd, you know, it's January, right? So I got all the new January people that have just resolved to get fit this year, and they are all hanging out on my machines at Crunch Fitness, okay? And they're there, and they'll be there till about February the 17th, okay? And some of them have gone, and they've hired a trainer, and they've done all this stuff, and it's great. And I'm kidding, and I hope they all stick around. I hope they all get in shape. But imagine hiring the trainer, you know, me coming in out of shape, trainer fit, paying the trainer. Trainer takes me over to the bench press machine or the Stairmaster, and I'm pushing back. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I mean, at some point, he's just like, look, dude, I mean, I'm happy to take your money, but like, let me do my job. You know, so you can leave here and say, oh, it doesn't work. I promise you, it does work. It does work. But just like the trainer, he can take you through all of the process of transformation and show you the path. But if you won't do the work, and if you are undermining the process every evening by eating a dozen Krispy Kreme, you can't look back at the trainer and say that he doesn't work, or that his methodology is no good when you're constantly undermining it. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, okay? Here's what I am going to do and what I have built. You know, when I think about Recovery Church, okay, this is Friday night. There's a reason why we're here on Friday night, okay? Pays all the same to me and my staff, whether we do this on Tuesday morning during normal hours or we decide to burn up a Friday night. My first treatment center in Mooreville, Mississippi, right outside of Tupelo, called the Harbor House. I went at 18 years old, addicted to methamphetamines, and I remember my very first treatment center, and I came in, and by the time I came to, I remember the very first Friday night that was approaching. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what in the world do you do on Friday night? You're about to go on the weekend. It's about to be understaffed. We're about to go in here, and y'all are in an outpatient setting, by the way. So it's even tougher. There's more temptation. You have less structure. And so what we do is we want to bring our most impactful night of the week on Friday as you go into the weekend, in hopes that you would be inspired and motivated and challenged, and even more importantly, empowered to make good decisions. There's been a lot of AMAs lately. It's an acronym for Against Medical Advice. People leaving whenever the treatment team is saying, hey, you're not ready. And that's the deal, right, of that we're with this illness of addiction, of a disease that tells us that we don't have a disease, that we don't have a problem, and that we don't need to be here. Here's what I want you to understand, just kind of some basic understanding of what's going on inside your mind right now. When you get addicted, whatever your drug of choice is, whether it be alcohol or methamphetamines or opioids or whatever, that when you get addicted, then your body or your mind processes that as a primitive need. So the person like me right now that is not addicted, it's got primitive needs of food, air, and water, okay? If I were to put dope back in my body, then I would very soon have another need called methamphetamines. And I would need that like I needed air, and that's how my brain would process that. So imagine the alcoholic, or how many times that you were serious as you saw the consequences of addiction, as you saw it taking a relationship, as you saw it getting you kicked off of a sports team, as you saw your children being taken away by defects, and you're like, that's it, I am done. I am not doing this anymore. And maybe you flushed it down the toilet. Maybe you poured out the alcohol, broke the alcohol, and you were dead serious. You were as serious as you could be in that moment with all of the intention, but yet a few hours later, you would find yourself going back to it again and even regretting that you flushed the dope. It is the alcoholic when you ride past QT and you deny your brain what it wants, what your body wants, what your flesh wants, and then your brain, whether you understand or not, starts to punish you for not giving it what it wants. I am telling you, your addiction, the part of your brain that is addicted, that wants that drug of choice, is punishing you right now for not giving it what it wants. It is not like that. It is not like the fact that you are in this place, the one place that can save your life. That is why you get agitated. That's why you get frustrated. They don't understand. When you have that type of perspective and that addictive mind thinks over, it wants to think you out of this place. That is what's going on. This is the one place that will save your life. Places like this that will save your life. And so your brain wants you out of here because it cannot get what it wants in here. So it's going to look for every reason for you to see it through a jaded lens, through a negative, pessimistic, condescending, contemptuous mindset, to look at this place as if it is evil and it is trying to prevent your life from moving forward. You know, some of you right now are waking up after 10 years of addiction. You're like, oh my gosh, my kids. My kids need their dad. And that's true. I've got children. They need me. Your kids do not need you to prematurely abort this process. Though it might sound noble. I need to get back and I need to make money. I'm an able-bodied, 35-year-old. I need to get back out there and make, yes, you do. Absolutely you do. But I don't want you to be present in your kid's life for a weekend. I want you to be present there for the next 40 years. And if you don't get this right, you don't have a choice. You're like, Trey, well, I don't know about this God thing. Okay, whatever. We'll deal with that. But let me just run numbers. I'll have Landon build a pro forma real quick and throw it up here and just show you that you can't afford not to get this right. If I just run basic numbers, I said, give me 90 days and 30 grand. Which ain't none of y'all paying that. But if I did, if I came up with some other investment right now, and I said, hey, it's going to cost you 90 days of your life and $30,000, but over the next 30 years, it's going to pay you out $2 million in distributions. Dude, you would go rob your stinking grandmother to get me that money. And I am telling you that if you get this right, that if you sacrifice 90 days and get these principles, what that's going to do to your net income and your earning power and what you're going to be able to accomplish in life, it is, even the 2 million is a conservative number on what you'll produce over the course of your life. That's numbers. That'd be math, and that math, okay? And so for you to try to act like, I don't know what this, look, you can't afford not to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, you're not going to be present in your own life, even if you have the ability to go out and make money. Even if you're the greatest salesperson that's ever lived, you're still going to be under the influence. You're still going to go blow it on hookers and cocaine and whatever else. Sorry, cheer-ins, if you brought your cheer-ins tonight. PG-13 service. So, you've hired us to save your life. I'm tired of seeing people fail. I'm tired of seeing people come in here to understand the play, and then I got my staff talking you off the ledge, late at night. They're happy to do it. We understand that that's part of the deal. But guys, you should be hanging on to this place for dear life. When you think, 1 out of 6 Americans meet criteria for substance abuse disorder. That's insane. Out of every 6 people that you run into, 1 of those meets the criteria for substance use disorder. Okay? Y'all are the lucky ones that actually made it into the room. Okay? I shouldn't need to convince you what a freaking dumpster fire your freaking life was when you got in here, okay? This isn't the gifted class, all right? I'm saying, no offense. This is not a culmination of your awesomeness that we're celebrating tonight, okay? You have burned it to the stinking ground, okay? Nobody set you up. you earn that seat, okay? Just like I did. And it's amazing to me. I mean, some of y'all, you got a few days clean. I mean, watching this stuff happen, whenever people come in and they're addicted and they're withdrawing and they're terrible and they're crying in the admissions office, or you go out to detox, in the evenings and watch people come in to detox. I mean, it is wild. It's wild. As it is, here too. But the point is I'll watch somebody come in, they burn their life to the ground, and then 3 days later, there's no humility. I mean, you come parading up in here like you're Conor McGregor, walking up in the octagon or something, like, you just, got 30 million to fight Mayweather. I mean, I am like, what happened? Like, I want you to be happy and have a good time, but let us not forget, like, what got us here. I mean, for a moment, like that's got to set the trajectory of how you see this place. I know you want to pretend like you are the American gangster, but trust me, that is not. You can relive some of those glory days and tell those stories back from 1997 or from '05 when it was still fun and you had a pocket full of money and all this other stuff. But trust me, the far majority of you did not march up in here like that. So let us stop pretending. That rap music will get you in trouble. Y'all be in a '01 Corolla and be believing you in an Escalade, okay? Like, I don't care. like, bro, you are in denial. I don't care how loud you turn that music up. So, it's the mindset, right? It's the mindset that has you, and I want you to win, okay? I want you to understand it is my job for you to win. I do not win unless you win, okay? So I am here bringing my best. I am not withholding something. I am trying to teach you the principles that if you will run the play, it will create opportunity in your life. Any of y'all that played sports, the coaches come up with plays. Any of y'all played basketball, you had plays that your coaches ran, pass and pick away. You ran flex, you ran, whatever it was. And he said, hey, if you run that enough and you move that ball enough, eventually somebody's going to be open. Somebody's going to be open. If you run the play long enough, and you will execute it, then it will create opportunity. I am here to teach you a play that produces wins in your life. Anybody tired of taking L's? Anybody get sick of losing? I hate losing to anybody in anything at any time. I despise it. And you should too. It should bother you. I am glad that you are here. I want you to have a great time at Good Landing, but I also want it to suck a little bit, okay? I don't want you to want to stay here forever. I need it to. Rehab is rehab, okay? We can make it feel like 5-star, resort, but I don't want you staying here forever. I want you to get annoyed when you're on the druggy buggy. I want you to, when you have to go back to the apartment or whatever and your roommate snores. I want you to get a vision for your life that if you'll stay clean, that you will close on a house one day. We have some real estate agents down here that would gladly sell you a home. People get on me all the time. I'm not wearing Jordans tonight like I normally am. And, people are like, man, they're getting on me all the time about that. I'm like, look, man, a pair of Jordans cheaper than an 8-ball. It's amazing. It's amazing. At least when I used to pay for 8-ball, maybe they're cheaper now. I don't know. But I know that if you will stop getting high, that you will be surprised at how fast that money will stack. It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, just some basic principles, and you'll start to get a series of wins, and you'll get momentum in your life. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. That's why it's important that if you don't go out and blow your 5 days clean this weekend, because it matters. It matters for you to get momentum. It matters for you to start to get a series of wins in your life. That's why we have an emphasis on physical fitness. I want to see you start to build stamina. I want to see you start to build strength. I'm not saying that everybody here needs to be a a bodybuilder or anything like that, but I mean, maybe you need to get your lipid panel right, by just getting off those carbs and doing some zone 2 cardio for 30 minutes a day. I mean, do something, and then see yourself start to get a momentum of wins in your life. But I want to look at a few things tonight. It's January, so everybody, it's a reset. I mean, you have this incredible opportunity to start off 2026 with the right mindset. We are fighting for perspective. In this room right now, I've had people that have come through, sat in the same groups, and this guy goes on to get a job and climbs the ranks at GoodLanding, or goes and starts their own company, and then somebody else says, that's it, throws the towel in and goes back and doesn't realize the next time that they go out and get high, that it will be the fatal, lethal dose, and that we'll be doing their celebration of life service. It's perspective that we're fighting for right now. Some of y'all are sitting in here and you're the most grateful person in the room. You're sitting here right now. Some of you have tears streaming down your face. You're saying, God, I cannot believe that you've given me another shot at life. I am the most undeserving person that should not even, I should be in prison. I should be dead. I cannot believe that I'm sitting here tonight and I've got breath in my lungs. I mean, most of you have been Narcan more times than you can remember and brought back from the dead. And yet others are sitting in this room and you're like, God, how could you do this to me? I mean, I can't believe this. All my buddies are out there getting high and I'm stuck in this place. I don't like this. I can't believe somebody looked at me wrong the other day. I don't like that group facilitator. I don't like these nice swimming tennis apartments. Came straight out of the stinking meth trailer talking about these apartments. I would live in these apartments. Ridiculous. I mean, I'm telling you what, no joke. I've had 3 people that have flown in on private jets. They have been the most grateful people. One of the richest people that flew in from Texas. Had another guy that was an attorney, farmed 20,000 acres of row crops back in Mississippi. And another kid. Not one of them complained. Not one of them. And I'll have, stinking Billy Bob coming right up out of the meth lab, and it'll be the worst complainer in here. I'm like, you ain't never even stepped in something this nice. I mean, it's ridiculous. You be getting on your parents, getting all frustrated at your parents. I mean, some of y'all, the first phone call that y'all need to make out of here is the fact that you call your parents and thank God that they even take a phone call from you. I mean, I talked to my dad on the way over here. I have not embarrassed a person more. I mean, I think about all my different phases that I went through. Gangster Trey, Big Jinko, Techno Trey, all this stuff. Little prideful Trey, thought he was smarter than everybody. Little prick, little whatever. I was all like, and I mean, he's got to parent me through this. I'm embarrassing him, getting DUIs, going to jail, looking like a fool. Just absurd and do everything under the sun. And yet, this man still loves me, still cares about me. I've been clean 12 years. I'm in a rehab, and I'm still shocked that he has anything to do with me. For real. And, and really what I'm getting down to is we're just fighting for perspective. Like, you can choose to be grateful. Like, I don't feel like I'm grateful. You can choose to be grateful. It's an act of the will. Humility is an act of the will. I don't feel like being humble. You can choose to be humble. You can choose to pray whether you don't feel like it. You can choose to go and ask somebody advice. You can choose to go and ask somebody else to pray for you because you're struggling even if you don't feel like it. It is moving in the opposite spirit. It's moving in the opposite direction whether you feel like it or you don't feel like it. And learning that you're not going to let those feelings dictate the outcome. And realizing that you've got this incredible privilege to be able to reset. I mean, think about it right now. Most people right now, it's January, they've set out a list of goals, okay? But then on January 1 or January 2nd, they've got to go right back into the rat race. They've got to go right back into corporate America with the same chaos that they've got, and they're trying to reinvent themselves whenever that they've got children, they've got a spouse, they've got baseball games they got to take their kids to. They've got a million things that are competing for their attention, and they're wanting to reinvent themselves. And some of them are still going to succeed to be able to make those changes in their life. Dude, you have been given transformation on a silver platter. Do you understand that? Do you know what I would give for 90 days to go away and work on myself? And have a staff of people where I sit in every day and I'm able to overcome anxiety. I'm able to read books. I'm able to consume information that is going to reinvent me to make me a better person. I'm telling you, you might have gotten here by way of destruction and way of addiction and burned it to the ground, but you have no idea what a stinking gift this is. To have this amount of time where you are able to ultimately reinvent yourself or to let God transform you and work on you. Trust me, because right now, everything that you want, that you're praying for, give my kids back, give my family, I want the job, I want to get, all that stuff is going to come, and then you're going to be fighting for 10 minutes a day for a quiet time. You're going to be fighting just to call a friend back. You know, and you'll sit around and absolutely mess this entire time off complaining and frustrated because you're not, where you think that you need to be. But if you'll take advantage of this time and get the principles right and get full of God, that he'll accelerate your life in a way that will absolutely blow your mind. If you'll give him dedicated time, what he's able to do with his God math and the way that he's able to structure things and to accelerate your life, and you'll spend it literally means it's why I am where I am today. All right. Okay. Here's why people don't get it, okay? Here's some things that you're going to face. You give up. People just give up. Quitting spirit. Just quit. You get beat down. You don't like it, whether it be shame. You've lost everything that's important. You think about your spouse. You think about your family that once was. It's not there anymore. Massive regret, gets hard, you throw in the towel, disappointment, okay? That's one thing. People just give up. All right, number two, you cannot find the strength. You know better. You're like Paul, I don't know why I do those things that I know that I'm not supposed to do. Who can deliver me from this body of death? Like, I know better. I mean, some of y'all have had significant clean time, and then you threw it back in, and you're so frustrated. You're like, man, I had 5 years clean. I used to sponsor people. I used to chair meetings. I used to whatever it was, and you went back out and relapsed, and you're so frustrated because, like, you know better, but yet you still choose the wrong way, okay? So that's another reason. And then at the end of the day, I mean, it's just for the majority of us, it's bad habits, okay? We just got bad habits. We're just toxic. A new trend, little trendy words. I'll use them. I've not met one person that doesn't have an ex that's not a narcissist. I'm like, okay. Maybe they just didn't like you. Now, clearly they were narcissists. And I mean, I'm sure they're worse, but I literally have not met one person that describes their ex any other way than a narcissist. Sorry. But seriously, like whenever you think about, just the bad habits and, whether it's your mouth, it's just being disrespectful, it's lazy and then being dishonest. I mean, that's a game changer right there, is learning to love the truth. Like, love the truth. And what that means is that when you make mistakes, that you love the truth. You love to walk in the truth. You love to, just even the small details of how you tell stories and, the way that you present yourself. I mean, we've all got our facades, but you want to get vulnerable and you want to get honest about who you are. You want to get honest about your fears. Like, dude, like, I get, man, like, well, I'm a man. I mean, I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'll fight, I'll whatever, you know, but at our core is what we want is we want to get healed and we want to get well. And that doesn't mean that you're less of a man. Honestly, it means that you're more of a man, that you're more of a stand-up person, you know, to be able to get vulnerable so that you can get healed, that you can get transparent, to let somebody see in here. Because I'm always walking around like, man, I got life by the tail. I got this. I'm like, bro, like, this is the one spot that you shouldn't have to pretend. That's what I love about this place, man. This ain't like small group over at, you know, church with, you know, Betty Lou, where you're like, you know, you can't get real. Well, Betty Lou, I was thinking about manufacturing methamphetamine today and flying to Vegas with some hookers. I'm saying, like, you can't talk about that. But you can't hear. I mean, like, there's literally nothing that can be said in this room that is going to, like, I don't care what you get up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've had, you know, guys that have worked for me that have committed homicides. I mean, whatever. And it's just like, there's just something so beautiful about the you know what I'm saying, being in here where there doesn't have to be any pretense. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to pretend. Like, dude, we have burned it to the ground. That is the common denominator in this room. Whether you're an alcoholic or whether you're a heroin addict or a fentanyl addict or a dope, I mean, it doesn't matter. That is what has leveled the entire playing field in here. And so all this pretense and pretending should stop. Dude, it's like, man, you know what it's like just to be like, dude, I'm a mess. And I can be in here and I can be around these people and I'm going to feel comfortable being vulnerable, talking about how bad that it really was. Because I want to get well. You know, and talking about it so that you can get well, not so that you can perpetuate this like victim mindset or, oh, poor pitiful me. Like, it's messed up. I need to make some tweaks in my life so that I can get better. Dude, I want you to win. I want you to find the strength. I want you to have a relationship with the Lord. I want you to get everything that you need so that you can be reborn and that you can leave here a transformed and different person. I went through 10 treatment centers. I was an IV drug addict, 4 DUIs. Okay? Everybody that knew me thought that I could never get it right. And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Christy and I run these programs. I mean, it's just like, look, you come in here like, 3 times and you fail. I mean, at that point, I'm like, man, you gonna be able to get it? I can understand from my family. It's not an indictment against my family, but I mean, after like 7, it's just like, Jesus, man, like, is this dude ever going to get it right? 8, 9, 0 for 9, we're like, God, 9. And then the 10th, the miracle happens. I'm not advocating that should be. You could be one and done like Hobbs, like so many others that are in here. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way, but I do get it. Where people can lose a little faith or whatever. But no matter where you're at right now, that if you get serious about transformation, you can get as close to God as you want to get. You can get as healed as you want to get healed. You can get as well as you want to get well. You can get as strong as you want to be. But it's really about how you see the season of life, because everything else that you hope to get is all contingent. It means it all hinges on what you do in this season right here. This is what's called the dark work. This is not the sexiest chapter of your life, okay? All right? Probably not too many, Instagram posts going up right now, #rehab. Love it. I get it. But this work right here, this was called the dark work that nobody else is seeing. This is probably the worst season of your life right here. This is the rebuilding. But I am telling you that this season right here, if you do this season right and you do this work and you get humble and you don't go and blow a gasket and, shoot yourself in the foot, and even if you do that, man, I still do wild stuff. This stage is so stupid sometimes. Like, it makes you seem like you're like way cooler than you really are. I'm telling you, like, I will still burn it down to the ground. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want there to be some idea that like, somebody up here is different. Like it's the same struggles. I mean, was just thinking about somebody that I want to punch in the face probably before I came up here, 5 minutes before I got up. So, I just, like don't think that it's like, that this thing is like, some big mystical mystery. All the parents are in here like, God, I need to get my kid in another treatment center. I'm just trying to relate. But or this idea that you can't struggle. I mean, probably the closest that I ever came to relapsing was a few months before I opened Good Landing, with around 4 years clean. I was back speaking at another treatment center and somebody came up and said something to me and triggered me. And I battled with it for months, and I had to run the play and confess it and have people pray and do all this stuff and put light on it. That was just 4 years clean, getting ready to, to incorporate GoodLanding Recovery. That would eventually grow to be what it is today. So just don't, just as you go through it, have grace for yourself. And it's really like this. Augustine said it, but a guy named Mark Batterson, really kind of made it famous in my life. But it's work like it depends on you. Pray like it depends on God. So some people are just kind of like, dear Lord, save me, take this addiction from me. Amen. Like, that's dumb, okay? You need to work and do the work like the whole thing depends on you. And then you also pray like the whole thing depends on the Lord. It is not an either or, it's a both and. So you need to do the work. You say, Trey, what kind of work are you talking about? I'm talking about the assignments your therapist gives you, the takeaways that you get, the stuff that I'm talking about tonight, like running this play. These are disciplines that you do over and over and over again. Those quiet times that we have y'all do in the morning, that's not filler to make your mornings annoying. That's where your power source comes from. That's how you set the trajectory of your day. You win the day, you win the week, you win the month, you win the year. Win the stinking day. That's how you do it. In the morning, you get up and you spend time with the Lord and you position yourself so that you can get full of light, so that you can get full of power. That is how I win the day at 12 years clean. That is how I won the day with 0 days clean. That's not just some annoying thing that we just throw in there. That is saying, like, if you start your day like this now, that's why it's important that you get up and you go in there and you participate. That is setting and building a new habit. You do that for 21 days. In theory, it should become a habit in your life. You do it for 90 days, it's going to solidify even further. And then you'll have people that will graduate and think, oh, I'm free now. I'm free. Like, no, bro, like that's the framework that produces the success. Like, build those habits while you're in here. This is the laboratory. This is minor league baseball. When Acuna got hurt, he went right over here and played at the Striper Stadium in a stupid fish uniform. One of the greatest right fielders that has ever graced a baseball field tore his Achilles, and as he came back, they put him over here in AAA ball and put him in a fish uniform. He got there and paid $12 to go watch him play, the greatest one, and you can be 10 feet from him. Because he was coming back up playing baseball over here at AAA ball. And that's part of the rehab process. That's ultimately what is going on here. And imagine if Acuna would have shown up and been like, dude, I play in the big leagues. I don't do this. I do not put on this dumb fish uniform. I play for the Atlanta Braves. I'm not doing it. You know what happened to Acuna? They would have got fed up with him and said, you're not well, you're not ready. Then they would have sent him to Mississippi to play single-A ball. And then if he would have gotten frustrated over there, then he would have faded away and he would have been a nobody. But he goes out there and works his butt off in that nerdy uniform, knowing he's not going to be on Sports Center, knowing people are paying $12 to come and watch him over here at this farm league ball. And he puts in the work, and then next thing you know that he's back out there. He's back out there on the field. And that's what's going on right here. You are in AAA ball, and you've got to make some tweaks in your life so that you can get back in the game. But if you want to be prideful and be like, all right, listen to this guy. I don't like a sweater. I don't like it. I don't like, hey, none of my preacher talks. First of all, I ain't no preacher, okay? Trust me, all right? And then secondly, Like, I mean, I don't care if you don't like the package. I am telling you that if you run the play, it will produce a series of wins in your life. Facts. All right? Okay. Garbage in, garbage out. All right? I mean, look, dude. I remember getting introduced to Christian rap. All right? I was like, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I mean, I remember getting saved and somebody put on some Lecrae, riding around with the top down, listening to Jesus. And I was like, dude, this is just the absolute, I mean, I am embarrassed for the guy. Like, I cannot believe that I am listening to this right now. I mean, I was raised on 3 6 Mafia. I mean, like, I'm talking just crazy, I could not believe. And then I'm like, but the deal is it's the same thing with green beans. You know, the same thing with broccoli. I want the ice cream more than I want the broccoli, but I don't feed my body what it wants. I feed it what it needs. Okay? And so you're in a season where you've got to reset the trajectory of your life, and you have got to do things that you don't want to do. You've got to eat the stinking broccoli right now. You got to eat it, okay? I mean, if you're getting up every day listening to the exact same music that used to feed your addiction, that you were getting high to, and you think that you're going to get spiritually well, you are gravely mistaken. And I'm not saying at some point that, like, you don't listen to, you know, I'm not trying to put some religious burden on your life, because trust me, like, I'm not sitting around listening to praise and worship all day. I probably should, but I don't. But I am telling you, in this season where you are reinventing yourself, you have got to remove the influence to give you. You are like somebody that is on the ER operating table, and you have a faint heartbeat right now, and it can go either way. Like, it is just touch and go right now. I mean, they got the defibrillator out, they're shocking you, and this thing is touch and go. It can go either way right now. And so you've got to create the atmosphere where life can emerge again. And if you feed it that stuff, and you're listening to that stuff, and you're talking to people, I'm going to call and just, you know, see what's going on back in my hometown and who got busted, and, you know, and see what the dope man's doing and make sure he's okay because this is his birthday. I mean, good luck. Leroy's good, all right? He don't need you to tell him happy birthday. So garbage in, garbage out, you know, stay in the Word. You renew your mind by staying in God's Word. You believe a bunch of lies right now about life, about God, about all the things, okay? That's where we plumb line. That's where we get truth, okay? Look, y'all have all kinds of ideas about God right now. I can't believe you let so-and-so die. I can't believe this, and I can't believe that. Look, I mean, I just went to a funeral the other day. Daniel Garner was my chief marketing officer for 5 years. It was at Recovery Church that I found out that his son Elijah that his wife was pregnant with their son. We were over to cross the bridge, and we prayed that night. We prayed for Elijah, and it was awesome. And he was born, and he would come up here, and he would be all over the stage and everything like that. He's super healthy. Daniel just told me at 4 years old he was hitting a ball off the pitch. And just so excited about his life. He was smart. He was just such a really neat kid, super healthy kid. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets invasive strep, and within 24 hours, he's with Jesus. This is a family of faith. This is a family that loves God, that is sacrificed. I mean, when I look back, I'm like, dude, like, I mean, I'm a knucklehead, you know? And I'm like, dude, these people do it right. Like, they do it right. And yet, tragedy, you know, hits. You know how easy it would be to be like, God, like I've given up everything. Like, I've served you since I was young. Like, how could you do this to me? Look, man, life's rough. God gives us free will, okay? You know, some of y'all don't understand why, you know, all these people overdose. I've lost count of all the people that have overdosed. I'm sure you have as well. God gives us choice. He puts a lot of dignity on choice. Bad things happen to good people. God's still good. God's still good. Even if your life isn't up and to the right in every single category, even if you get hit with tragedy, God is still good. He is still faithful. Job, after he lost everything, Satan asked, can I touch Job? Can I touch his servant? God said, yeah, you can touch everything he's got. You just cannot take him. Takes his wife, takes his children, takes his money. You know what that's like? I mean, for somebody to have that kind of money and that kind of power, and for the devil to take it all, and he's sitting there thinking, man, I've served you, I've been loyal to you, like how could you take all this to me? And even his wife comes to him and says, Job, you need to curse God and die. He looks at her and he says, you speak like one of the foolish women speak. He goes, how can I accept good from the Lord and not accept adversity? The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Hard things happen. I'm going through hard stuff right now, stuff that I thought that I would never go through. People that have become my enemies that I thought were dear friends of mine. I get it. Man, you get battle tested, you realize like that's part of the deal. I want to stay unoffended in that. I want to learn how to love. I want to learn how to trust God. I'm not going to close down and become jaded and be like, oh man, the world, they're terrible. People are terrible. You know, like, dude, it's just, we've all been the hero. We've all been the villain in somebody's story, especially us in this room. So make sure that you stay around people that are going to feed you with positivity. I'm telling you, man, look, as strong as I am in my faith right now, and you know, you just kind of think like, oh man, the guy owns the drug rehab. Dude, I'm still susceptible. I mean, you put some knuckleheads around me, and you put the wrong atmosphere around me, dude, it would not take long for me to go back to my old ways. My flesh still loves to get high, okay? Like, I don't like it. I stinking love getting high, okay? Love it. Love everything about it. Love the game. Love running from the cops. Love I mean, it just, you know, I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but I just can't emphasize enough how much I love the life. And I had to crucify that and realize the life did not love me. It did not love me back. It destroyed my life. It wasn't like, you know, Tupac tried to make it sound. It did not go down that way. And so I've got to crucify that and realize, man, if I play with that fire, I will get burned. I don't want to play with that fire. You know? Y'all mess with them cops all y'all want to. I ain't doing it, okay? I'm saying. True story. Okay. Strength comes from the Lord. Real strength comes from above. While you are here, I would encourage you, you chose a faith-based program. This isn't no bait and switch. I didn't trick you to come in here like, wait, wait a second, what does Jesus do? We are unapologetically who we are. Can you still get clean without Jesus? 100%. You can get clean without Jesus, okay? But you are selling yourself short. I'm not getting ready to do some, you know, big theatrical thing up here or whatever, but deal with that. Okay, all right. Where are we at on time? All right. So I got my AA people in here, my NA people. I love that. Love the 12 steps. I love the 12 steps, okay? 1, somebody give me step 1. And our lives had become unmanageable, okay? All right, so you're powerless over your addiction, all of it, all right? Some of y'all in here that are heroin, you're like, okay, I'm going to beat the heroin. It's so funny to me whenever I see somebody get some clean, they're like, I've been clean for 12 years off fentanyl, but I've been clean for 10 minutes off meth. Like, clean is all of it, okay? 1 is too many, 1,000, never enough. All right, I don't care if your drug of choice is whatever. If you go back and you're like, I'm just going to drink wine coolers. I mean, one of the biggest methamphetamine dealers, friends of mine that kind of raised me up in the game, went to prison, got out, went to alcohol. Wine coolers is what killed him. Cirrhosis of the liver, out of all the hard stuff that he did, the stinking Bartles and James or whatever it was, is what put that dude in the grave. I led him to the Lord on his deathbed. One of the most amazing things that I've ever seen God do in my entire life, and wine coolers is what killed him. I am telling you, you deal with that. Deal with that while you're here. All you parents that are in here, I had a guy one time, this is no joke. Guy played basketball at North Carolina. He was an investment banker. I mean, brilliant. I mean, he was sitting on the front row of every one of my groups, laser focused on me, taking notes. I mean, the guy was just next level. I mean, he was a next level. I mean, he would have been the model client, front row, laser focused, notes every group. The guy gets out of here, goes on spring break with his family or summer break, and he convinced this brilliant guy, investment banker, went to UNC, convinced his parents that it was okay for him to have wine on spring break because they were in Florida. Last I know that he had full-blown relapsed, was a miserable alcoholic, and that's the last thing that I've heard about this guy. Because he tried to trick himself. Listen to me. Do not be manipulated. Drinking, weed, California sober, all that stuff's a bunch of crap. This is an abstinence-based program. You mess with that stuff, there is no going back. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it to you. I mean, it just will not scratch the itch. Like if you open that door, you're like, I've done it a million times. Let me be your research and development team. Okay, I never wanted to go, like when I would graduate rehab, I would never be like, I can't wait to get back to the trap house. I can't wait to go back and do meth again. All I want to do is put on nice clothes and have some drinks at a wedding or at some party or whatever. And every time I would try, sometimes I might even do it. I might go out and have a couple of beers. But I'm telling you, after a few times of doing that, I would go out and it would be midnight and my friends were going home and I was not going home, okay? And I was going to make some bad decisions and I was going to stay up for a week. Trust me, you play with that fire and it will burn you, all right? Encourage yourself, transform your mind to be positive, stay around positive people. And every one of y'all have goals, right? It's the beginning of the year. Hopefully you've set some goals. I love doing that. I come in this room. This is a 24/7 prayer room. It's been going on for right at 20 years straight, nonstop. It's over in some other part of the building right now, but when we get out of here, a worship team will be back up here, and it will continue on with the 20. I mean, you can come in here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's going to be live worship. You can come in here. You can hang out. It is where my life transformed. They used to be right over here off Collins Hill Road, and then they got this spot. It is one of the coolest places ever, and I have spent more time inside of this place. Every year for the last decade, I have started and ended my year in this room, okay? To spend time, to set goals, to look at my life. But here's the reality. You don't, and I'm taking this from James Clear out of his book, Atomic Habits. You do not rise to your goals, you fall to your systems, okay? I promise you, everybody in America has the exact same goals. They want to get richer, they want to get more in shape, and they want to get more spiritually fit, okay? I'm telling you, every one of you in some version of that, you know, want to have better relationships, I want to get rich, I want to get closer to God, and I want to get in shape, all right? And about 3% of people are going to hit those goals. You want to know why? Because you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. So you got to build systems. That's how organizations scale. I've got to build systems. The same systems that I had when we had 3 people in GoodLanding are not the same systems that now hold 500 people in GoodLanding. And I know that we need to improve some of those systems. The same systems that we ran here, you know what I'm saying, didn't allow us to scale into Louisville. So to be able to scale and to be able to get bigger and to be able to get better, then you've got to have better systems. You've got to look at those systems and figure out what is going on in the systems that I've got, that if I want to get to 12% body fat, or if I want to, you know, become a millionaire, or I want to have a better relationship, then I've got to put systems in place. You know, some of you, whenever you get out of here, you're going to have to go to church. You need to go to church. That needs to be a part of your system, whether you feel like it or you don't feel like it. Okay? And then some of you are going to realize, man, I have beaten drugs and I love Jesus, but I am a nightmare at work. I'm real and I don't put up with my boss. Ain't nobody going to talk to me like that. Okay, big dog. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you're fired and you ain't never made no money. Yeah, I mean, you can be like that all you want to and be the realest one that there ever was, but that's nonsense, dude. That worked for you in the 8th grade when you used to run junk on the playground. It does not work for you in your 40s. You know, in the real workplace, you know. I'll fire a real one on his face in a heartbeat, a real one, okay? And put them on a bus and send them back to wherever they came from with their nonsense, you know? So don't think being a loose cannon, you know, is some big win for you. What that means is that you're a ticking time bomb and nobody can build with you, period, end of story. And you need to fix that, and you need to build a system to fix that. It's not awesome anymore, okay? Nobody's impressed by that. You know, your ability to, you know, go nuclear on somebody in a staff meeting. You know, like, you can advocate for yourself. You need to figure out how you're going to be able to deal with that. I'm not telling you that you need to tolerate somebody disrespecting you or anything like that, but just being a ticking time bomb, that's something. I mean, people can have real clean time, but then they don't have that, and then you got to build a system to be able to fix that. You know, maybe you have a counselor. I've had different times in my life where I've had to hire a counselor because I wanted to grow in a certain area, or I needed a coach in a certain area. You know, I mean, it's basic stuff, but if you don't think about it, you've got to put it in place. And you've got to take advantage of this season that you're in right now. I'm trying to give you real stuff. I'm trying to think about if my kid was sitting out here in this audience tonight, what does my kid need to hear to make sure they stay alive? That's how I'm seeing all of this content that I'm giving you right now. I know how to get this place up in some big emotional stir and get you all fired up and hit all the tweetable talking points and say all this stuff, but I need you locked in, and I need you to go back and get something. I don't care if you come up here and cry at the altar and spit around and snot and all that other stuff. I need you to get in your brain a metanoia experience, a transformation experience, and say, man, I thought this way, and then I had an encounter with God, and now I think this way. Whether there's any emotion involved in it or not, I need you to go back and work. I need you to go back and pray. I need you to go back and do something different because whatever you were doing wasn't working. And that's how the thing works. You know? And I want you to get touched by God. I want you to get touched by God 1,000 times in here. Church, Friday nights, groups. I mean, you're going to hear some powerful stuff whenever you're in here. But make it your point to lock in. Lock in. It's a beautiful thing whenever I see somebody locked in. When I see them say, man, get what you came for. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're paying this or your parents are paying this or your stinking insurance is paying this, that you paid the premium, I am telling you, you're paying for this. This is a for-profit entity. All right? You are paying for this. Get what you came for. It's all here. If you don't think it works, look around the stinking room. There's more people and more clean time in this room that was produced out of these same messages that y'all are listening to in these same groups that y'all are listening to, that I have a leadership program and I raised up from them, the entire perimeter of this room, and full of people that are sitting on site right now that all got clean right here. So don't tell me for 1 second that it doesn't work. It works. It works. Everything that you need is right here. So, and them the facts. Where's the worship team? I want to sound spiritual. Where's the... Watch what I'm talking about. It's amazing. He already left. There he is. So I love having an altar call. These altars are open, okay? And every time that I'm up here, and I know Diego's been doing it lately, that the altars are always going to be open. And it's open for anything that you need. There's something about positioning yourself in humility and just asking God for help, okay? So we're going to just play just for a minute. I mean, it's not going to be anything long and drawn out. But if you need to deal with the Lord, if you need to rededicate your life of saying, God, I've been off this week. I have been struggling this week. I have been in a place where my mind hasn't been in a place that is glorifying you, God, and I want to come back to the heart of worship. I want to come back to the cross. I want to come back to recenter and position my life on Jesus. This is the time to do it. This is the time to do it. There is, I mean, rebirth is through the relationship with Jesus. That's not something that we can manufacture. That is being born again by the Spirit of God. Rededicating. There is supernatural work, and then by the grace that God has given us to be able to choose, that we choose to work on our lives in faith. So, Father, we love you. God, I thank you so much for tonight. I just thank you so much for the people in this room, God. These amazing, wonderful people, God, that have been ripped off by the devil, that you have spared their lives, that you have given them another chance. And I pray, God, that you would inspire them, that you would empower them, God, that you would give them, that you would fill them full of hope, God, and you would fill them full of faith, Jesus, to know that you have a better life and a better way, God, and that you will not lie to them. You will not rip them off, and that you will make them new, God, and that you will give them vision for their lives, and that you will use them in profound ways to be able to drive the kingdom forward. To use them, God, in their communities, to use them in their families, God, to set up a standard to show that you still have power over addiction, that you still change the most broken, God, the darkest life, that you still change, that there is nothing outside of your reach, that you still take the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. That you're going to use these people in government, you're going to use them in business, you're going to use them in medicine, you're going to use them in substance abuse, God. You're going to use them in every area, every mountain of influence, God, that you're going to raise them up right out of GoodLanding Recovery, and that they're going to be a testimony that you are still able, even when the rest of the world and their own families have written them off, that you're going to change their life and you're going to set them on high places. And it's going to be incredible, and it's going to be offensive because of how scandalous that your grace is and how good that you are. God, we love you, God. I lift up our children tonight. God, have your way, God. Thank you for these people. Forgive us of our sins, God. Be with GoodLanding, God. Protect us, grow us, expand us, God. We plead the blood of Jesus, and we rebuke the devil, and we worship you. We love you, God. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, love y'all.